Hi, Nancy.
Hello, Mark. I'm Nancy from the Sporting Tribune. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. It's so wonderful to meet you.
You know what? You might be the reporter that I've met that talks most with their hands in the first 10 seconds.
I'm very, the eyebrows and the hands, they go all over. I'll try to.
Oh, don't you dare. It's all good.
All
Nice to meet you. Happy to have the chance to talk a little bit about Long Beach.
Thank you. Well, we're all really excited to hear your thoughts on Penske Entertainment's recent acquisition of the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. So, well, there they go again. Without further ado, let's dive right in.
Uh,
Mark, we all know Penske is a powerhouse in motorsports, but taking on a legacy like the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach can feel a bit like inheriting a gorgeous antique that you want to make sure to handle with tender love and care. So, how do you balance respecting its rich history while bringing in new ideas or changes?
yeah, it's a great question, and I don't think it's one that, at least in this context, we've been asked before. Um, Look, I spent a lot of time in men's professional tennis and
Hmm.
admired tournaments like Wimbledon,
Yes.
which has that special alchemy of protecting tradition and that iconic thing that is Wimbledon, the championships, while being an amazing innovator. I would say the same thing about our observations about Augusta National. I mean, it's all about, the traditions and the gestalt
Yeah.
of, of Augusta. And yet, if you look closely, they invest and they spend a lot of money to make sure they're always in certain ways, maybe varying ways, cutting edge. So, and I would say the same thing about, I don't know what you can see behind me, but that's the first turn of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Oh, wow.
And that is, with the three I just named, I think one of the iconic venues in all of sport. And one of the reasons it's iconic is we're about to run the 108th running of the 500. And yet increasingly we're putting more and more investment into how to protect that history and that the things that matter most to our fans, our generational fans, while innovating and growing. So I think we kind of know what that looks like. And
Yeah.
it isn't one size fits all, but um, the first thing is that, as you know, that I'm sure that this coming April will be the 50th running or the 50th birthday, and that'd be a particularly inappropriate time to medal,
An
and
added challenge.
clear up uh, the history there. So we want to make sure we understand the history. We want to protect and nurture it. And over time, we want to look at how we'll invest and complement that history.
Right. And I'm sure fans will be excited to hear that. And now you're obviously in a position where you have to make countless decisions. I'm curious, have any of those decisions been influenced by something unexpected? I ask this because I recall you sharing a fascinating story about how the wisdom of a children's book helped guide you to an unexpected career choice.
Honestly, I would say not yet.
Not
We,
yet?
we deeply appreciate the value of the history of the Long Beach Grand Prix, and we had a 100th anniversary race here. Actually, it was a number of things, but the one year when we ran the 500 for the 100th time, it was sensational. So we feel like Jim Michaelian and his team understand that opportunity, and they've long been working on how to make the most of it. And we just want to be here to support them and to empower them to make the most of that. And as I said, look, over time, uh, it'll be like, what can we add? What else?
Mhm.
But that is really not the priority for the 50th anniversary.
No, absolutely. And when I was speaking to Jim Michaelian, the wonderful Jim last week, that's what we kind of touched upon, that the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach has become such a cherished tradition for so many families. Like it's as if it's part of their DNA. So it's very,
Yeah, you have provoked me to think about some of the things we did for the 100th running and to ring up Jim and say, ignore all these if you want, but here's a couple things that we thought sort of maybe surprised us and were really, really fun. For example, this is not the way for me to tell Jim, but we'll do it together. Somebody, I don't know who had the idea that we just passed out like paper stickum name tags.
But
And
hello, my name is.
no, it wasn't for your name, although you could put your name on it. It had blank line like for a fraction over 100. So it
Okay.
was meant for everybody to say, how many have you been to over 100?
Oh,
It
that's
was
really
so cool, and people loved it, and they loved showing off their history, and it was just a little point of pride that took nothing to do, and really the fans did it for
cool.
themselves.
The
So
little details.
yeah, I think we probably could unearth some other examples like that for his consideration.
I love that because then it also opens conversation for fans that are going through and they go, "Oh, this is your 20th. This is my 25th."
You're exactly right. It was just terrific, and again, I didn't even know it was happening until I saw it, and it was just dynamite.
That's amazing. Well, shifting gears, here's a hypothetical for you, or
Did you
maybe
skip
it's
into
not
it?
hypothetical. Maybe it's some, yeah, you got it. Maybe it's something that you can make happen. So we all know that Indy 500 winners kiss the bricks as part of tradition, but if you could create a new tradition for the winner of the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach, what would it be? Maybe a celebratory plunge into the ocean, taking advantage of what Long Beach has to offer?
Something on the Queen Mary. I don't know. A thing like that, we often think that some of us is smarter than one of us. So it's the kind of thing we love to invite fans to brainstorm with us about and see what kind of great ideas come forward. So um, that's a great challenge, and my reaction would be we ought to ask fans who know the event what they think more so than what I think.
Who knows it better than the ones that have been going all this time?
Exactly.
Well, I'm curious, with the big 50th coming up next year, nostalgia is obviously it's going to be up in the air. And well, in fact, it was just announced yesterday that Mario Andretti and Al Unser Jr. will serve as co-grand marshals. So that's pretty huge. How good does it feel to be able to announce that to fans?
Well, those two are so iconic in IndyCar racing. They're perfect for celebrating this historic event, and the event meant a lot to both of them, means a lot to both of them, I'm sure. So, great choice. Mario, in particular, is just phenomenal ambassador that's tireless and he's so loved. I'm not saying Al Jr. isn't either, but Mario just is unsurpassed in his energy and his charisma with fans. So we'll see how they play out, but I thought they were a great choice and again emblematic of the desire to build on the tradition as we move forward.
Yeah, and I was speaking on social media with the announcement, and I can already tell fans were very excited.
Great, good to hear.
And all right, Mark, as we near the finish line, would you mind playing a quick round of word association?
We
Nothing.
went, we went from shifting gears to the finish line. I'm down
Yeah,
for that.
we're as fast as IndyCar here. All right,
Sure.
so I'll say a word and you just say the first thing that comes to mind, and I'll give you the same words I gave Jim just to see if you guys are on the same page.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Podium.
Roger Penske's boat.
Fan fan experience.
Concerts.
Penske.
Um, that's not fair. Two things. One, Team Penske, great competitors. Roger Penske, Penske Entertainment, great stewards of this sport.
Legacy.
Building for the future.
Performances.
Uh, Again, I think about it as on the track and on the stage. So great racing is sport and great concerts to keep everybody entertained when we're not on track.
Yes. Food.
I'm for it. I
Me too.
know I would have said like tacos,
King Taco. King Taco.
King Taco.
IndyCar.
Uh, Dynamite racing,
Tradition.
to be built on,
Changes.
to be done carefully.
Mm. Long Beach.
Uh, the most iconic, storied street race in IndyCar and in America.
Agreed. So brilliant. You both had very different answers, but they're all fantastic and they're all correct.
Terrific. I hope I didn't embarrass my friend Jim.
No, no, no. Well, okay, before I let you zoom on out of here, I have one more question for you. It's a question that I love asking. So, if our roles were reversed and you were the one interviewing Mark Miles, is there a question that you would ask that I have not?
Hmm. Let me think about that for a second. I think the question you've sort of already asked, or I would ask, is you've got this iconic event with a storied place in the sport, built on tradition and all this history. Now, how do you protect that while growing it for generations to come?
Right. And you've touched upon it, but if the floor is yours, if you want to add anything else.
Well, I don't today, but I will tell you that we do have some ideas that are percolating about after after 2025, where we could potentially, this is early days of brainstorming, even broaden the appeal of the race. And I mean that, I should have said the appeal of the event, to have more people be there for more reasons, in addition to taking in a great street race.
Oh, perfect. Well, Mark, it was a pleasure to chat with you. We can't wait to see how Penske's stewardship will shape this amazing event for years to come. We wish you all the best with preparations, and we look forward to celebrating the 50th anniversary of this legendary event from April 11th through the 13th.
Thanks so much, Nancy. We'll look forward to seeing you and all our fans in April in Southern Cal.